Information technology. This is subject code 402. So the marking scheme sample question paper, we'll try to see the question, how they need to be answered, what is the marking scheme. Part A is employability skills. So there will be multiple choices, that is in this sample question paper. We have 6 questions and 4 we have to answer, 1 max each. The use of abbreviations in a communication leads to misinterpretation of messages is an example of dash barriers. There are different kinds of barriers. One is the language barrier. Normally we have different languages spoken in different countries, and in one country also we see different languages are spoken. So if we use, say, short forms, just say for example, if I tell you FYI, what does it mean? Many people won't understand that this stands for your information. So they won't be able to understand. So this is a kind of a language barrier. Use of abbreviations in communication. Language barrier. Right? People may not understand what you're saying. They may not ask, but they won't understand it. Vacationing helps in dash individuals. Vacationing, when you are doing some work, maybe some business or job or your own work, every day is monotonous. So you need some break from the daily life. That is vacationing. So the stress will be less. You will de-stress and will again energize yourself and come back again and work. Dash serves as an interface between the user and computer. So we have already seen when we are learning computers that operating system is an interface between a human being and the machine. The computer basically. Computer is a hardware. So in order to work, this hardware should work, there need to be some software. That software is operating system. Okay. So operating system can be Windows, can be Linux, etc. And dash is a person who establishes a business or a venture that generates some value to the customer and proves to be profitable for him. So who is that person? He is entrepreneur. So he gets profit, he works, but he also is working for the betterment of the society. An economy is called green economy when it is based on the principles of. So we know the principles of sustainable development. So we are talking about green economy. That is no plastic, no non-biodegradable, the reduction of poverty, life for everyone, education for everyone. So there are so many. Basically these are SDGs. And these SDGs were made in a summit in New York 2030, what the world should look like. So these are the principles which started with certain people who called it as sustainable development, Bundworth. So sustainable development is use the resources today so that it remains for your future generation. Physical exercise in the form of dash to relieve stress as they stabilize mood, improve self-esteem and induce sleep. It is always said that in a day you need to at least take out 30 minutes for your body, for yourself. Walk, run, skip, whichever exercise you can do, some aerobic, non-aerobic, yoga or meditation, etc. Now this fill in the blanks can have multiple entry, but we will go with walking and skipping. You can change this also, but the walking and skipping is quite good here. Explain any 7 C's of communication. So whenever we do communication, say talking to people or multiple people, communicating yourself, expressing yourself. So there are 7 C's of communication. All these are starting from C. That is why we are calling it as 7 C's. 7 C's. Okay. So let us see here that whenever you're going for, say, some meeting or email or say conference or some reports, presentation, these are all, you need to tell people and show people that you worth and they need to listen to you. So be clear. Whatever you say shouldn't be fuzzy. means it has to be very crystal clear what you want to convey. Concise means very, very, short. Concrete means it has not to be misinterpreted. Be correct means whatever you say, means if your spelling is wrong, that is incorrect. So the impression will not be good. That will be incorrect. Complete means whenever you start some conversation, you need to end it properly. Be courteous. Courteous means be polite. Means always use good words. Don't use foul language. That is courteous. So these are the 7 C's. Clear, concise, concrete, correct, coherent, complete, and courteous. How many origins can have stress causal? Or you can say how can your stress be started? What are the stress causing places? Or you can say some original or origins. The question is saying that from where it may start. So it can be mental, it can be physical, because maybe your stomach is hurting. It can be physical. Social, it can be people are not behaving with you good, they are bullying. Then financial we have, that is you're not having enough money to live your life. So these are the origins for stress. They may cause the stress, you can say like that. Write down these steps to create a folder in C drive with your name. So what happens here? If you go to Windows, you will open the Explorer, go to C drive, and then right click. When you right click, there will be a menu, and in that menu you will see create new folder, and this create new folder will create a new folder, naming new folder. So as I said, just double click wherever your computer icon is, double click on C drive. So we have to create a folder, and just right click, new folder, create new folder will come, and finally this folder will come. You can rename it as well, or you can keep it like a new folder only. What are the myths about entrepreneurship? Explain any two. So what are the myths? Myths are basically the illogical, non-reasonable conversation or discussions which are going on. And people believe without even asking a question, no logical reason. So there are myths in every part of life. So for entrepreneurship also, there are myths, because you might not having good knowledge or very less knowledge, incomplete knowledge. So the myths are entrepreneurs are high risk takers. That is not true. Entrepreneurs become rich as they start a new business. No, it takes some time to be very patient. Entrepreneurs are job hoppers. This is also wrong. Entrepreneurs have limited dedication. This is also a myth. So one more myth is if you have business, you are entrepreneur. This is wrong. If you are not having the new idea, you are not an entrepreneur. This is also wrong, because you cannot have a new idea, but you can present it in your own way. List down any 4 factors causing ecological imbalance. See, ecology, ecological environment, everything, biodiversity, all these are related words. Everything, whatever we do, is causing imbalance because we are not doing it intelligently, we are doing it ruthlessly. Like destruction of forests, cutting trees, industrialization and urbanization, they can be talked together. We are making these towns to cities to big cities, metro cities, mega cities. So we are creating concrete jungles, and these jungles are at the cost of land and the trees. Then as a consumer, we want so many things also. So we need, there are producers as well. This producer will produce from industries or some marketing setup, and that will take the natural resources as input. So finally, as a consumer, we are depleting these natural resources or using them in not a good way. Large use of pesticides, let me add, because these pesticides, insecticides and weedicides, these are all chemicals, and these are chemicals to kill. Now when they go inside the water, inside the soil, even in the air, that is basically going to cause, or they will come in our food chain, and finally we will be affected by it. We don't even think about the small insects, organisms and other flora and fauna, but still we will also be affected. Overgrazing is also a problem. Overgrazing means the area which is, say, where the goat and all the goat, sheep, they go to graze, but they overgraze. And when they overgraze, the soil will come up and that will be eroded by the wind and the air and water, and that will create a problem in later life, or not for only for us, for everyone.
This is part B. Subject skills. So here in sample question paper, we have answered 10 questions out of the given 12 questions. So this is the part B. Dash is an accessibility function that tells the keyboard to ignore brief or repeated keystrokes, making typing easier for people with hand tremors. Hand tremors means maybe the hand is moving or some fingers are moving. So sometimes they may hit the keyboard key multiple times. So there are accessibility functions or options for that. So we have filter keys. So in order to ignore brief or repeated keystrokes or slow the repeat rate. So if you see, the time is also given, that what how many number of times, or what is the time duration. So the answer is filter keys here. Define digital subscriber line, DSL. So DSL is standing for digital subscriber line, and this provide internet access by transmitting digital data, because internet and data, we are calling it as data only, by transmitting digital data over the wires of local telephone network. Now normally we know that the local telephone network, it's analog. So this is how we get data by DSL, digital subscriber line. Dash are text or image included at the bottom of the page and may repeat in all pages of the document. So we are talking about MS Word document here. So here we may be making some reports, some documents of multiple pages, maybe even book of say 100,000 pages. So as I'm talking about MS Word, we have a header and then we have a header and a footer. So header upper side, footer lower side. This is the header and footer, because they are asking about bottom, that is they are asking about the footer. So whatever you put in here, that is the image or the date or any content, that footer will be repeated in all the pages which exist in that document. Symbol option is available under dash, group in the insert tab in Word document. So in Word, when we are typing, we need different symbols, because sometimes we might be typing some science article, some math article, or some article which contains multiple symbols. So we have to go to insert and then we have to go to symbols. And when you press this symbol, then this window will appear. And now you may select multiple symbols which exist here. So the answer here is symbols. Dash feature is used to extract the data using some conditions on columns. So when we are talking about Microsoft Excel or any tabular data, then there are features, there are ways in which we can get certain columns. We can apply certain condition on a column and then get the result. For example, we want only the region here, for example, those entries which are in west, or those entries which are in say east. So this is how we can filter here. So you are placing west here, only west is coming, east is coming. So this is filter. So what is the feature that is used to extract the data? Because you may have thousands of entry. You might get some 10 out of it because you are putting some conditions on columns. The answer is filter. Filter. A dash is a graphical representation of data in which the data is represented by symbols such as bars. Okay. So whenever we represent the data in form of numbers, there are statistics people, there are people who understand this, but the better is to show in presentation to people who are not well aware or who wants that that information to be grabbed. This can be done in say a bar form, a pie chart form. That is, in a way, the data is presented in a pictorial form. For example, this is the UP, rest of India and South India population like this. So the answer is chart. This is called chart, pie chart, bar chart. So this chart is a graphical representation of data. A dash is the visual motion when one slide changes to the next during a presentation. So if you see multiple slides and when it is being presented, you always see people are putting different kinds of transition. When one slide goes to second slide, there is a kind of transition that makes it animated and look beautiful. This is slide transition. Dash helps to move, rotate or resize multiple objects in a presentation. So what happens normally in a presentation or in a slide, there are multiple items you put. So if they are having, say, they have to put common, they have to be resized commonly. So the best way is to group them. Otherwise, these are 8 items. You have to do them individually 8 times. And that is not advisable, and that is very cumbersome also. So just group them, and then now you can, whatever you do, this will be done on all these 8 of these or multiple items you select together in a group. So you can group the items also. You can do the resizing, rotating, moving, and even deleting multiple items. Grouping is the answer. Dash statement is used to retrieve records in a database. So database means we are talking about rows and columns. So when we want to take a particular record, let me tell you that we have in this rows and columns in table. So these row and columns, what do you see? These are, one of the row is called the record, means each row is actually a record. So here we'll use the select, execute SQL, that is select command here, select. A dash represents a single data item in a table. So we are talking about a data item in a table. Normally we call it as a cell, but here we are talking about a complete data item. So here, if we talk about a row and column, this row and column tabular data, so total row, one row, these are 1, 2, 3 rows. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the columns. So the one of the row is representing a data item in a table. Okay, it can be name, address, say age and mobile number of someone. So one row is the whole data item. The answer is row. You can categorize appointments in the management software by giving specific dash to appointments. In order to categorize something and to understand, for example, corona vaccination. One person he has appointment Ram, other is Rahim, the third is say Mona, fourth is say Peter. Now the second and third, they are say medical staff. So in order to treat them differently or to give them a proper time of appointment and to understand them that they are medical staff, we can color them in a different color. So coloring is a way of categorization. So other can be given some other color. So this is how we can categorize the appointment in a time management software by giving specific colors to appointments. Answer is colors. Define journal entry. Journal entry. So if a particular individual or a person or a transaction, so whenever he is doing certain, say he is writing some email or doing some task, and after that some appointment he or she has, so these all are entered. So a journal entry is it's creating a timeline of transaction that can be linked to a person or a contact. This is the journal entry. This is called the journal entry. Okay. So here we have 6 questions of 2 marks each and answer 4 questions. State the purpose of creating a blog. So with the advent of websites, if you see today we have Facebook, Twitter. Twitter is the most popular micro blogging site. So why it is called microblogging? Because now you can tell people what you are, what you are doing, and you can relate to people. People can follow you. So a blog is a discussion style, or it is a website which is for you to discuss. It can be non-technical. It can be say related to computer or science. It can also be non-technical. So here user create their personal web pages. You can call it as websites also. So this is how they convey their message, maybe about event, announcements, some news and reviews. So all the information about you can be shared with the people following you or through the website. So this is how you connect with people using a website and a blog. So blog is normally accessed through web browser, and it would require an internet connection or a data connection. But right now, most of the things are on mobile and they are in the form of apps. So that is also blogging. Differentiate between page break and section break options of a Word document. So whenever you are working in a Word document, so Word documents are divided into different pages. For example, this is one page. You have written your content, and then you want the other content to be in the next page, to start from the next page. Here you put a page break. So page break is all about starting a new page. And for section break, let us assume that you are writing a project report. So here the first section will be about the first page, the title, the something about your guide, etc. So there has to be one section, then the chapters will start, that will be other section, and some bibliography and references will be third section. So there will be multiple sections, and you want to have a different formatting for all these different sections, right? For that you put not a page break, but section break. So a page break can be inserted anywhere in your document where you want to force the end of the page and you want a beginning of a new one. But a section break, it controls the formatting of the document content that precedes it until it reaches another section break. So different sections can have you can deal with them in a single document in a different way. You can format them in a different way. Because for example, header footer may come in some of the sections, some it will not come. So this is section break. Explain conditional formatting with the help of a suitable example. What is conditional formatting? You want to formatting is all about changing the text, coloring, etc. But conditional formatting is changing the format with certain condition. That is, for example, you are writing Peter. If I can write it in blue, I can underline it, I can make it as italic. But for certain cells or on based of certain condition, on basis of certain conditions or the ruling, we want certain cells to be formatted in a different way. So that conditions can be based on the selected cells contents, or it can be based on the content of other cell also. For example, you have marks of different students. Now you want to highlight only those cells which are higher, those marks which are higher than 80, say in some green color or some other color. Those cells will be highlighted, and that will be much more interactive, and you will appreciate, the user will appreciate, okay, these are the people who have got 80 marks. If you want to give them some praise, or you can do it by just seeing it. List the activities recorded under a journal entry. So what is a journal entry? A contact or a person, whatever he does, that has to be entered in a journal entry. For example, certain appointment, some task, or some call. All these are activities recorded under journal entry. So there are certain activities that can be automatically recorded under this journal entry. For examples, emails which are sent or received. If a person has sent some email and also received, these are automatically recorded into journal entry. The telephone calls, if some meeting is there, what is the meeting request, what are the responses being received, this also goes into journal entry. Along with the office documents a person is managing, that also goes into journal entry. So this is a kind of example. These are the journal entries. Differentiate between flat file and relational database. Flat file and relational database. Flat file is just a simple file. I'll go to a table discussion just now, but let us assume there is a plain document, a Word document, or even a notepad document. So you have written some name, address, age for first person, second person also the same thing. So you just call it as a flat file. You just took a page and just wrote something on it. In database terms, flat file database, a flat file is a database containing only a single table. Only one table is there. It is a formation of rows and column. So you have a data dictionary where you have records, and that records will have files, records, fields and characters. Okay. The advantage is very easy to create, very inexpensive. But the problem is, the disadvantage is data redundancy, that you will get same row multiple times. Inconsistency also, if you go to some other place, say the salary will be credited here but not debited there. So there will be inconsistency and redundancy in the flat file database. But there is another kind of database which is relational database. So flat file, please understand one more time, data is stored in a single table and usually suitable for less amount of data or less amount of data to be handled. This is flat file. But when we have a big data or medium or large amount of data, then the relational database is all about multiple tables. And these multiple tables are just made because we want to avoid the data redundancy and the inconsistency. So we divide the table into different parts and these tables are related. So before making a database, we make a schema, that is the framework, and with the ER diagram, entity relationship diagram, we formulate how many tables will be formed, what will be the formation, what will be the fields, all these. That is, entities, attributes and relationships are formulated. So the advantage is it is having a reduced data redundancy, consistency, shared data, centralized security, all are the advantages. But there is no disadvantage, but simple thing is that you need some expertise to understand this RDBMS, Relational Database Management System, or multiple table form, because there are so many things which are going to come. One more question they have asked about this, we'll be discussing it just now. So flat file, one table, a relational database, multiple table linked along, and linked along in a better way to reduce data redundancy and inconsistency that we generally find in the flat file database. Normally we don't find it, or we never find it in a relational database. So this is the partition. This question is very important because it is being asked multiple times, and we need to understand this flat file and relational database concept so that you can answer it well. Mention 2 points stating the effective use of animation in a presentation. So whenever you present, what do? If a person is simply standing just with no pauses, saying everything, no one will be interested to hear it. That is, if you present a document, Word document or a PDF document, you just start reading it. See, just giving an example, if you read a book, you will sleep normally. So the presentation is all about presenting a content in a way so that the user or the audience or the people who are listening, they get the information in an interactive way and in a very, say, you can say in an interactive way, and they enjoy it also. For that, there are the ways, one of the good ways, animation. So in a presentation, when you have the animation, that is, things are moving, they can see what is going on in a form of a movie or in a form of, they can actually relate to it. Because if you see kids, They love cartoon because they don't know anything. They are not well, their mind is not that much mature, but cartoon they can very well understand. That is, they get, say, addicted to it. So the audience attention focusing is very important. For that, animation is important. It also controls the flow of information, especially when you're explaining some complex term or complex diagram or complex, say, flow of data flow. So this is focusing the audience attention, flowing of information, and that is, if animation is there, everything is not at once. It reveals every concept one by one. Okay, like somebody, how to make a call or a video call. So you show everything, every step in a form of an animation, and then the other person who is sitting, they will get glued to your presentation. Answer any 4 questions out of the following 6 questions of 3 marks each. So the first one is Sanya. Sanya is working on Word document. She has inserted graphics and wants to use wrap text with graphics. Under which tab she can find text wrapping? List any 2 text wrapping options available in word processing software. In order to understand and answer this question, you need to understand MS Word, the different tabs. So 1+2 marking scheme is there. So wrap text, what is this? For example, if you have a Word document you have inserted a picture. So this picture will be somewhere here where you are going to type the text. How this text will be typed, that is the wrapping, that is text wrapping. Okay. You want the image should be there and text should be only in top and bottom. Sometimes you want that the image should only be seen on the back. So this is all text wrapping. That is in line with text, square, tight, through, top and bottom, behind text, in front of text. All these are the text wrapping functions available. First is this. What will you do? You will go to Insert tab. Under text section, there will be an option wrap text, which I am showing you here also. So insert text section wrap. This is the first part. Second part is list any 2 text wrapping options available in a word processing software. So all these listing I have shown, you can write any 2 of these. If you write all of these, that will be more the icing on the butter cake. Explain any 3 character formatting options in a Word document. So in a Word document, there are plenty of way in which you can format the characters, sentences, paragraphs. For example, if you see here, you wrote something, then you made them bold, italic, underlined. So you have somewhat placed a formatting. So this is what you have to write in the answer. For example, if you see in this picture, this is character formatting. Somewhere it is strike through, somewhere it is underlined, somewhere the font is different, somewhere the text style is different. So you can take any of these. 3 of us we have taken changing the case. That is, if you are writing or written something in small cases, small letters, it will be changed directly into the uppercase, capital letters. So this is the changing of the case. You'll find it under font group. So this is the case changing. Uppercase, lowercase. Font face means how the style, the font or the character will be shown. Font is not, you can find it analogy with the character only. So these are different fonts, shape and size. Then text highlighting color. So if you want to highlight that particular character or a sentence, you can highlight it. That is the background color of that character or the sentence will change. So these are some of the listing I have given. You can add others also, which you know by the time you are giving the answers, because in examination sometimes you don't remember these. State the purpose of creating tables in a digital presentation. Mention 2 ways to insert a table in a presentation. You will see always table is the best way to represent data. For example, if I just write randomly these numbers, it will be very difficult to understand this even. And if I just write this number in a tabular form, you will see how organized they look, and they are representing certain things, so they are giving you certain information. Okay.
So always while you are presenting, try to use the table. So in order to represent the statistical data or any kind of data meaningfully, the tables are being used. It can be used to present text and numerical data as well. Not only numerical, text also you can use. For example, the mobile numbers. We don't remember, we know the name. It is better to present them in a way which people understand. Data is shown in a grid form, rows and column. So first part is done. Now mention any two ways to insert a table in your present. For that you have to go to Insert tab, and here you'll find Table, Insert Table, and using title and content options, all these can be added. Define the following. So whenever we are talking about a database management system, relational database management system, these are the certain terms which we must know, and that they are normally asked in your exam. So if you see, there are two tables here. We'll talk about these tables also in discussing these defining. So first of all, we make a schema, then we make a ER, entity relationship diagram, and then we formulate a table. But the table should have a single field that can uniquely identify the records. So table is basically rows and columns. This is the related data. So a table is a collection of related data held in a table or kept in a table format within a database. So rows are the horizontal row, the columns are the vertical. So it consists of columns and rows. A database can have multiple tables. Now you see here very carefully. I am trying to define the primary key. So we have 4 columns: student ID, first name, last name, and course ID. Now here student ID and course ID, they both can be used as a primary key, because if you see first record and the third record, the course ID is repeated. So if I just add one more and I write Jim, so it will be repeated. That is, Jim will have 2 entries in a table. So how to uniquely identify this Jim or a record? So we need a particular column. We can call it as a column or an attribute or a key that can uniquely identify a single record. Okay, so that is called the primary key. So primary key is a unique value that identifies a row in a table or a record in a table. For example, in a student table, it may have admission number, name, date of birth, address, phone number, and admission number. So what all can be taken? Admission number, the phone number, and these phone number and admission number can be taken as a primary key, because phone number is also unique, admission number is also unique. Okay, date of birth, people can have they can share it. Name also, multiple people can have it. Okay, now you see here there is another table, and course ID is also a primary, can be taken as a primary key, because course ID will be specific. For example, there is an employability skill course and an information technology course. The code will be different, course ID will be different. So course ID can also be taken as primary key in the first table. But this particular attribute or a column, which is now the primary key of the another table. So the primary key of another table, which is in the first table, is called the foreign key, because one table is having that particular key or that particular column, and that column is behaving as a primary key in the other table. That is called the foreign key. That is why, because it is foreign to the one table. One table, it is foreign. Why? Because that particular table, first table, is having a column which is also in the other column, second column, foreign column, and that is behaving as a primary key. Okay.
Snehal works for an event management company. She has prepared a presentation, and while setting up the slideshow, she is getting the following options. Explain them briefly. So these are the options she would get when she's about to present or slideshow, because in a presentation or a PowerPoint, each page is called a slide, and then whenever we present, every slide is presented as a single page, and that show is called a slideshow. That is called a slideshow. So presented by a speaker, This is a setup show. So you see here, presented by a speaker, full screen, browsed by an individual window, and browsed at a kiosk, full screen. Let us see one by one. First thing is presented by a speaker. So this we will use, or this option we will use if the presentation is to be made to an audience, that is more than one people are there who are listening. Second is browsed by an individual. So browsed by an individual is employed or used when the presentation is to be made to an individual. To an individual. There is one person. Okay. Browsed by an individual and presented to an individual. Okay. So this is third option now. Browsed at kiosk. Kiosk. So kiosk means a place where people come and go. So kiosk, computer terminal, where people can come and go. So this is browse at a kiosk is used when the presentation is to be given at kiosk, computer terminal. So these are the three ways of presenting. What is DDL and DML? DDL and DML. Okay. Let me tell you, in database management system, relational database management system, we have SQL, structured query language. So we have different kind of commands we use. For example, DDL, DML, and DCL and TCL. So DDL and DML is being asked. So let us see them. We will give the example also. DDL stands for, or it is the acronym for Data Definition Language. In a database, making a database, creating a database, that is, whenever you make a house, you will make a framework, architecture. So DDL is all about the architecture. Data Definition Language. So you create a schema, database, how it is going to be. As I said, when you're going to make a house, before that you will make a architecture. So that is the schema of the database. How many tables will be there? What is the name of the table? What are the fields like this? Then data manipulation language, DML. So now when you have the data already made or database already made, you need to populate it. And then there are certain modification you would like to do. So you cannot classify DDL, but DML can be classified into procedural and non-procedural DMLs. DMLs, procedural and non-procedural DMLs. For example, for DDL, we have creating a table, altering a table, dropping a table, or dropping even a database, truncating, comment, and rename. In DML, we can select, insert a field, update a field, a record, delete a record, merge, call. These are DML commands. One more thing is SQL statement cannot be rolled back. Rollback means if you have come to the certain points, you cannot go back. In DML, SQL statement can be rolled back. This can be done. DDL command affect the entire database. Please remember it, database entirely or the table. DML command affect one or more records only, that is rows. So data definition language, DDL, this is a standard for commands that define the different structure in a database. So here you can create, modify, remove database like table, indexes, and users. For example, create, alter, drop, as we just discussed now. Data manipulation language is a language, same thing, SQL, that enables user to access and manipulate data in a database. So DML, DL are not different. They are SQL commands only. But one is making the database, one is manipulating or say just changing the fields. So the goal is to provide efficient human interaction with the system. Insert, update, delete, like this. Rohan's grandfather was wondering that how does Rohan chat on web with his father posted in California. Elaborate the steps involved while transferring data over internet. So Rohan, his grandfather is here. Now he sees Rohan chatting on web. So chatting on web, the father is 7 seas away in California, America. So how does this work? How does this actually technology, what is the basic of this technology? So I'll just go to the detail of this. First of all, whatever you do means on a mobile or on a computer system, that is a data. So data goes from one place to another. But while you are speaking, while you are video calling or audio calling, everything doesn't go one by at once. The data, which is normally a bigger size, is broken into smaller sized pieces. That is called as a packet. So, for example, this whole data is divided into 3 packets. Now, this packet, because this packet has no information now, means data is there, but there will be a header now added. Header will contain all the different information along with from where this data has come and for where it is destined to. That is, the source address and the destination address is given here. Okay. Now this destination, because it is known and source is also known, so wherever it goes, from India it goes to say Singapore, it goes to China, or it may take multiple paths. But since the destination is fixed, it goes to a proper location. On all these packets, they go to they may take different paths, but they go to the same destination. May not take same route. At the destination, what will happen? See, there are different kind of connections: TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, UDP, User Datagram Protocol. So there are different ways. We are not going into the detail, but the thing is that the packet when they reach the destination, because they were already divided or they were broken, they need to be reassembled, combined together, and that is reassembling. So this is how the whole scenario of communication over a channel, over a network works. So this is Rohan grandfather's. Now he's happy. He knows that how communication is done. Elaborate the 5 types of views available in a spreadsheet. So spreadsheet you can just understand by rows and columns. It's all about tables. This is also a table. The intersection of rows and columns is called a cell. But spreadsheet is all about arranging the related data in a way it can be manipulated, understood, analyzed. So there are different views in which you can view it. Normal view, this is the default view of the spreadsheet. Page layout, page break, preview, custom views, full screen. So there are different kind of views depending upon your usage, depending upon how you actually want to view it, how you want to present it. So normal view is default view. It's a collection of cell arranged in a work area. Page layout, it is quickly fine-tuned if you fine-tune a worksheet that contains many charts or huge amounts of data and achieve professional looking result. So this is for page layout. Page break review. See, this is similar to the page layout option, except you can set that area that is to be set as a page after inserting a page break. So here you page break and then you see how it will look. Custom view. To view selected areas of a document, the custom view option can be used because the document can be very big. You just want to see certain place, certain area, that is custom views. And full screen is all about only the blocks. That is, the workbook covers everything. All the panels will be hidden. All tabs will be hidden. Write the points to be kept in mind to make an effective presentation for the audience. So mention any 5 points. So whenever you are presenting, please remember you are presenting. You are coming in front of an audience. So first of all, you have to give them good information, legal information, and then you have to make them happy also. That is, they must feel good. Oh, what a presentation it was. They must learn. So PowerPoint means all about research. You need to know your topic, collect the material. Don't just copy, make your own material or learn it before you go. Because question will be asked. People would ask question. Before going to a PowerPoint presentation, how many slides you have? These slides need to have a commentary. That is what you are going to speak. Then you need to know what is going to be the audience. Highlight the key points and keep the key points, that is the bullets, as short as possible. Just don't flood everything in on a slide that just show the slide and people are going to read. Nobody is going to read. You are going to tell them, you are going to present yourself. Nobody is going to listen, see the slide. They are here to listen to you. And use simple language in your slide and while you are presenting also. That is, in a one slide, don't make more than 3 to 4 bullets. Okay, limit the number of slides, just 1 minute, one slide. You cannot have multiple, 100 or 200 slides. Just make, because 30 or 35 minutes people will understand. Otherwise, if you're very good, they will wait for 45 minutes. Fancy fonts, fancy kind of look, people don't like it. Make it sober, people would like it. Just the color scheme should be good. See, blue color, green color, you love the sea water, you love the greenery. So blue, green, all these colors, white, they're good. If you're using some orangish color, people won't like it. Black on yellow, yellow on white on say black, people won't like it. So color scheme should be good for the eyes. And when you change the slides, transition and animation should not be a distraction, because they are glued, they have to be glued to you. If you change the slide in a way, they will be distracted. And then use a slide design template. Always use a template, because your slide should look consistent. Every slide should look consistent. Otherwise, one have different font, everything will be different, right? Write a query to create a table with the following structure. So this is the A part. There is another part, B. It has 3 subparts. First one, write a query to create a table. So this is quite easy, because you just have to make a table and all the content is given here. Field, PID. The PID has to be character 4. Pnames should be variable character 20. Description should be variable character 40. Price should be decimal, that is the floating type. So what you have to do here is, there's a simple command, create table. Create table and just give the name of the table. That is product is, because you are going to make the name as product. So create table and the name of the table, that is product. Then what you are going to do, in the round brackets, all these you have to write PID with a space, char 4. Just copy this, PID, char 4. Now you have to use a comma. All these are separated by comma. Pname, varchar, description, varchar, price, decimal, all are separated by comma. Now finish with a round bracket and then give a semicolon. Then you can run this query. So the table will be created with all these data types. B is, consider the following vendor table and write the queries. So it has 3 subparts. So we have 4 columns, 4 fields, 4 attributes. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 records. 4 records. Write a query to display all records. So in order to display all the records, there is a simple query, select star. Star is for all the records. And from where you have to give, from where, because there can be multiple tables. So from vendor. Vendor is the name of the table. So select star from vendor. This is the query. Select should be written in the first line. From in the second line, this will look good. Select star, because select from where is the type we write. Select star from it. Write a query to add a new row with the following details. So this is a record you have to enter. So there has to be, after this query, there will be one more record added to it. So it's a very simple insert into values. So insert into, after that you have to write the name of the table, which is vendor. And what are the values? It is already given. These are the 4 values. So insert into the name of the table, vendor, then values, and then put these all 4 values here. The next one is write a query to modify the location of V003 from Kolkata to Gujarat. So in order to modify, we have to update. We are modifying. So you have to use update set. So we have already used insert. Now I'm going to tell you about update and set. This is the command format. Update what? That is the table name, right? Update vendor. Set what? Location you have to change to Gujarat. Set location equals Gujarat. Update set. Update vendor, that is table, set location equals Gujarat, where location equals Kolkata and location equals Kolkata. But one more thing is given, location of V003 from. So Kolkata is only 1, so you can just leave this query like this. But if you want really to add some more thing, so you can add. This is optional. And vendor equals, a vendor ID equals V003. This is you have to add, okay? So this is just optional because Kolkata is only 1. Okay, this is all about the sample question paper. Hope you got the idea how you are going to answer. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.